Welcome to Fight Club 24/7. My name's Johnny Rashman. Right, let's get straight into it. Tyson Fury, Dillian Whyte. Fight week has finally come, right? But I've got to say, is it the event it should have been? It's being built as the biggest British boxing event of all time, and attendance-wise, that's probably true. Right, 94,000 at Wembley. I understand that, but for this size of the event, it isn't the event that it should have been. It's not, and I've gone on about Dillian Whyte's lack of promotion, and I do think he'll regret it in 20 years' time, even 15 years' time. I think he'll regret it, not only from a boxing point of view, just from a personal level. Now, he might have this mindset where it's fuck everyone else. I'm getting my money. I'm not bowing down to anyone. I'll do what I want to do. Fuck the fans, fuck the promoter, fuck the media, fuck everyone else, fuck my sponsors, who, by the way, they'll be going mad, because if you're sponsoring Dillian Whyte, this is the biggest fight of his life that he'll ever be in, and you're getting no exposure off it, they won't be happy with it. But I do think he will regret it, because even Tyson Fury said life is about moments in time. We can all have money. Some of us will have money, some of us won't. Some of us will have more than others. But when you look back in years to come, he'll regret this, even if he wins the fight, because there's no reference point. There's nothing to look back on. You know, there should have been a buzz everywhere. Radio stations, TV stations, everyone should be talking about it. Non-casual fans. The hardcore fans, yes, him not talking, Dillian Whyte, and him not promoting it has probably made the fight more appealing to a certain extent. But that's sort of us boxing fans will watch anything. But boxing thrives on mainstream attention, and an event like this should have had more build-up. It really should have. I think he'll regret it. Now, the headline is, are you a Dillian Whyte fan or a Tyson Fury hater? Right? And the reason why I say that is, there's a lot of Dillian Whyte fans that have suddenly come out the woodwork, right? Who seem to know exactly how he can box and how good he is and all his strengths and how he's going to win the fight. And with all due respect, don't get me wrong, I get there's Dillian Whyte fans out there, but there's a lot of people out there who were laughing at him when Povetkin put him to Kip. Right? Now all of a sudden they're Dillian Whyte fans. I think there's a lot of Tyson Fury hate. I don't understand why. I think the guy's proved himself time and time again. What more can he do? He's beat the best of his generation. He's undefeated. He's shown he can win fights multiple ways. If he gets hit by an uppercut, he doesn't stay down. He gets up. Right? He might not have been hit by an uppercut, but he's been hit with vicious punches. And whenever he's been down, he's got back up. When Dillian Whyte has been knocked down, he hasn't got back up. Now, that's not me having a go at Dillian Whyte. That's just a fact. It's heavyweight boxing. If you get hit on the chin, you'll get put to sleep. But Tyson Fury's proved if you get hit on the chin as a heavyweight, you can still get back up. And I can't understand why people aren't behind him. Undefeated, won every bout in boxing, fought the best of his generation, done it in a variety of styles, won it in a dogfight, won it by skills. I just can't understand it, and there seems to be a lot of Dillian Whyte fans out there, and I question, are you really a Dillian Whyte fan, or do you just want to see Tyson Fury get beat? Now, I'm not saying Dillian Whyte doesn't have fans. He does, right? He does, and he's a dangerous fighter. But the stuff I'm seeing, like, it's all what Dillian's going to do. People seem to forget that this fight isn't about Dillian Whyte. It's what version of Tyson Fury turns up. And if Tyson Fury performs to his best, he wins this fight any way he wants to. He can fight on the back foot. He can make it a dogfight. He can fight on the inside. There's a variety of ways he can win this fight. People are saying, Dillian Whyte will break into the body or catch him with a left hook. But you have to ask yourself, does Dillian Whyte have the boxing capability and IQ to land a clean left hook on Tyson Fury? Now, look, he could do. It's boxing. One punch can change it all. But you've got to understand, Dillian Whyte didn't have a great amateur career. I don't know if he had any amateur career. I'm not pretty sure he didn't. He came from a kickboxing background. So he's massively overachieved. Where Dillian Whyte is now is further than he could have ever imagined, right? Ever imagined when he came into boxing, right? And he's done very well for himself. But Tyson Fury is elite. He's up there with Canelo, Floyd Mayweather, Terence Crawford, Errol Spence. He is an elite fighter, right? So how are you going to land left hooks on someone who's 6'9", who switch hits, who can fight from in a southpaw stance? Now, what's going to happen when Dillian Whyte's getting busted up with a jab, right? And then he's getting And there's combinations flying at him, right? Does he know, will he be able to deal with that in an effective way? Now, Dillian Whyte's very good at the counter left hook where he catches it and then retaliates with a left hook. Tyson Fury's not going to give him that opportunity. He really isn't. Tyson Fury could come out, put him on the back foot, right, and say, you know what, this is my fight, if he wanted to. Or he could get on his bike and outbox him for a few rounds. Tyson Fury looks very lean, so it suggests that I think he will outbox Whyte in this fight. A lot of people are saying Dillian Whyte's going to be the best version of himself and this is the best Dillian Whyte, but he's not fought for a year. And if you look at his last 2 fights, he fought a shot to pieces Povetkin, completely shot to pieces. The second fight was embarrassing. He just turned up for a paycheck, wasn't interested in winning. First fight, he put Dillian to kip. So what have you seen from those 2 fights to suggest that he can beat one of the elite fighters in the world? I think a lot of people are getting confused with the Tyson Fury hate and Dillian Whyte's ability. And I don't use hate lightly, but there is a lot of hate for Tyson Fury. And people say, oh, you're a Tyson Fury fan. Of course I'm a Tyson Fury fan. I'm also a Dillian Whyte fan. But I'll be honest with you, if someone does something I don't agree with, I will say it and call it out. I don't rely on these guys for access. I don't need to do interviews with him. If they don't like what I've got to say, that's down to them. I don't need to rely on them for content. If I've got something to say, I'm going to say it. I don't do hate. I don't have any personal emotions. If I feel someone's done something I don't agree with it, I will hammer it down. And I can't understand where Dillian Whyte is all of a sudden Floyd Mayweather. It's like, it's unbelievable. Tyson Fury is that good. You have to ask yourself the question, does Dillian Whyte have the boxing IQ to deal with a 6'9" slick fighter who can fight on the back foot, on the front foot, who's heavy, who's fast, who has blurring hand speed, great jab, which is the key, right? Dillian Whyte doesn't have the same jab as Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury's jab is that good. He can win the fight just on that. And it could end up like a Derek Chisora too. It really could. Now, I'm not saying it's a walkover. It's not. Dillian Whyte is a world-class fighter and he's got to be respected, right? But I'm not having all this, well, if Dillian Whyte performs to his best, he can win this fight, and if he goes down to the body and all this. When has Tyson Fury ever showed any vulnerability to the body? I've got someone going on my social media saying Deontay Wilder was breaking him down to the body. Why? Because he landed literally 4 body shots, straight right shots to the body. That's not breaking someone's down. That's what happens in boxing. You get hit, right? Tyson Fury's never showed that he weakens as the fight gets on. In fact, he gets stronger as the fight gets on. That's what history has proven. This is not me being a Tyson Fury fan. This is just facts. So I just don't understand it. Now, look, I might be proved wrong, and if I am, I'll hold my hands up. I can't get it right all the time. But I don't see how Dillian Whyte wins the fight. I really don't. I think Tyson Fury is that good. And people that have short memories, they seem to forget how good he is. Now, on the flip side, the last Wilder fight would have took something out of him. Right? There's no question about that. When you go life and death with someone like that and you take vicious shots, it's going to take something out of you. But Fury's coming into this on the back of a fight. He's active. He's not got problems. He's not got personal problems. He's not got issues. He's coming in healthy and fit, which a lot of people seem to just overlooking. Dillian Whyte, what's his preparation? He's not fought for a year. He's not fought for a year. Pulled out of the Otto Wallen fight. Would you say Dillian Whyte's last 2 fights is great preparation to fight a 6'9" fighter like Tyson Fury? Would you say that's good preparation? I'd say no. He fought a Povetkin who's much shorter, right? Who's not going to cause him the problems that Tyson Fury will. So I don't understand where this momentum of Dillian Whyte's the best version of himself. If anything, it might be a poor Dillian Whyte that shows up. Now, don't get me wrong. He'll go out on his shield. If he has to get knocked out, he'll get knocked out. Right? He won't just try and kid a victory. He'll go out on his shield. He's a tough man. But I don't understand the preparation aspect of it and why everyone seems to think that Dillian Whyte has the boxing ability to beat Tyson Fury. He doesn't, right? Can he make it awkward? Can he make it difficult? Yes. But this fight isn't what Dillian Whyte can do. It's what version of Tyson Fury shows up. And if it's the best Tyson Fury, he could beat him absolutely comfortably. I expect him to bust him up. And I think he'll take him out late on, because I think with the Kronk style, with Sugar Hill, he's planting his feet more. Now, some people may say he's slowing down a little bit. It may be the case. But I don't think he'll try and win it all on the back foot. I think he will be very smart. He'll get on the back foot for the first few rounds. But it wouldn't surprise me if he dominates the centre of the ring as well. Because if he takes that away from Dillian Whyte, what's Dillian Whyte going to do? He's going to outbox Tyson Fury from distance. He's not. So it wouldn't surprise me if Fury takes the centre of the ring straight away, just to assert his dominance, like he did with Deontay Wilder. And then I expect him to box for a few rounds. But I think ultimately he'll start pushing Dillian Whyte back. And I think he'll bust Dillian Whyte up. He'll bust him up. And then I think he'll take him out with a right hand later on in the fight after 6 rounds, 7, 8, 9, 10, maybe even championship rounds. If he doesn't, I expect him to win a decision, clearly. I don't see how Dillian Whyte wins the fight. Well, when I say I don't see, look, I can see him landing a left hook, right? It can happen, right? He might land a worldy shot and that can be it. But I don't think that will happen. Right? I'm not saying it can't happen. It's heavyweight boxing, but I don't think that will happen. I think Tyson Fury is that good. Love him or hate him, you can't deny how good this guy is, how skilled he is. He's an elite fighter. So I don't understand where all of a sudden people are backing Dillian Whyte. I think people's judgment have been clouded for... I think it's really people wanting Fury to lose rather than actually expecting him to. And... I think he'll prove again how good he is, but then there'll be even more hate after it. It's like whatever he does, someone has something to say. So if he wins this fight, it'll be, he's scared of Usyk. He don't want to be undisputed. I don't understand what more he can do. He's fought the best of his generation, right? He showed when it's a dogfight, he gets to the trenches, he can get back up and fight, right? Doesn't stay down. So I don't know what more the man can do. For me, he's one of the best heavyweights that's ever lived. Maybe the best. He's that good because you've got to look into context. You've got to take into context his size, the size and the speed of him. No one's ever been that fast at 6'9" with the weight on him. No one. He's an absolute nightmare to fight, and I think he'll bamboozle Dillian Whyte. I don't think Dillian Whyte has the boxing IQ or capability to beat Tyson Fury. That's my opinion. Let me know what you think. Do you think Dillian Whyte can win the fight? Do you think Tyson Fury is slowing down? Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know.